Wantam! Kasongo mwizi! Wantam! Harambee! Wantam! Harambee! Wantam! Kasongo mwizi!
What was meant to be a show of goodwill from President William Ruto to the people of Nairobi has instead spiraled into a political embarrassment for his administration. Hours after an elaborate empowerment program at Statehouse, videos emerged online showing a section of Nairobi residents rejecting and heckling the president. The footage, now widely circulated, has ignited debate over the effectiveness of such events and whether they are genuinely winning over public support.
Sasa ndio hii empowerment ya Nairobi 50 shillings. Mpaka hizi sijui kama zimefuatana, hizi zijafuatana namba. Tumepewa 50-50 na mheshimiwa
ya Kenya
za empowerment
for the youth.
The scenes were striking. A group of attendees, fresh from the lawns of the country's most guarded residents, chanted "Ruto must go" and "Wantam" as they made their way out. Their energy was not that of people thrilled by what they had received, but of a crowd intent on sending a political message. For a president already navigating deep political and economic turbulence, the timing could not have been worse.
Kasongo muuaji!
The day had begun with pomp. Thousands of youths and women from Nairobi were hosted at Statehouse in what was billed as a major empowerment initiative. RUTO'S team had lined up donations ranging from motorbikes to sewing machines, tents and other items intended to boost small-scale business activities. It was a classic political spectacle. Large crowds, music, speeches and a display of generosity. The government framed it as a step towards supporting self-reliance and job creation.
Tumeelewana jameni? So hii kiwanja ni yenu leo. Nimeshukuru sana kwa kunitembelea, na mimi pia nita revenge. Nitakuja huko kwa base pia tuonane na huko.
But the aftermath painted a different picture. In one clip, piles of soda cans littered the grounds outside the venue, symbolic of a day many attendees apparently felt had been reduced to a feeding session rather than a serious engagement. Voices in the background lamented that their trip to Statehouse had not been about food or entertainment, but about expectations for change that had gone unmet.
Mea kiburi. Unaona hizi zote ni soda na tukunywi. Tatuoneshe. Tumemea kiburi. Hii ni kiburi tumemea. Wewe ni safaras. Tumemenyea kiburi. Soda, main. Nazitupa. Hebu ona gabo. Wewe ona gabe. Masafara tumemea kiburi. Hiyo ni gabo.
The optics were brutal for the administration. Empowerment drives are meant to bridge the gap between leaders and citizens, but in this case, the gap seemed to widen. Instead of applause and loyalty, the event ended with chants of defiance. Political observers note that such incidents, especially when captured on camera, can quickly erode public confidence and become a rallying point for opposition narratives.
Jina kiebuona wa Mr. President, machupa, mashofa, machupa kila mahali. Hebu ona, akiona na tunasemanga tu ni mrezo wetu shwari. Hebu oneni, makosa kubwa sana akitu kitupa chakula ya tumbo, ona, na kuna watu wajakula, ona.
For Ruto, the incident underscores the growing restlessness in Nairobi, a city that has historically swung between political extremes. The capital's residents have long been vocal about the high cost of living, unemployment and perceived inequality in resource distribution. Hosting thousands at Statehouse and sending them back with tangible goods was likely intended to soften these grievances. However, the videos suggest that political mood cannot be bought with handouts, at least not in this climate.
Masafara tumemea kiburi. Hiyo ni gabo. Gabo yetu tunarogota hadi masoda. Gabo ya Statehouse. Na kuja tu Statehouse. Gabo iko hivi.
The event also feeds into the ongoing debate about the effectiveness of empowerment politics in Kenya. Critics argue that while motorbikes, sewing machines and tents can help individuals, they do little to address systematic issues such as job scarcity, inflation and governance failures. In Nairobi's urban sprawl, where survival is often a daily hustle, symbolic gestures may win applause in the moment but fade quickly in the face of relentless economic hardship.
Jamani, asanteni sana. Mimi nawapenda sana. Nawatakia baraka ya Mungu.
The backlash has given opposition voices a fresh ammunition. In recent months, anti-government protests have been driven largely by urban youths, the same demographic Ruto sought to woo with the event. For them, the promise of empowerment is measured not in donated items, but in sustainable economic opportunities, fair wages and reduced living costs. The sight of attendees rejecting the president so soon after feted at Statehouse may become a vivid metaphor for the disconnect between the government initiatives and the lived realities of citizens.
What we have here is called stove tongue. Stove tongue, it's used for curling.
There is also the question on whether such initiatives are backfiring politically. By concentrating resources and attention on a single day of spectacle, the government risks creating the impression that it is more interested in optics than long-term solutions. Moreover, when attendees walk out and express open dissatisfaction, the narrative quickly shifts from generosity to failure. For the president's communication team, the task now will be to contain the damage. In a digital age where videos can be shared millions of times in hours, controlling the narrative becomes an uphill battle. The chants caught on camera are already circulating widely, accompanied by captions and commentary that cast the event as a public relations disaster. This incident will also be closely watched by politicians across the divide. For allies of Ruto, it serves as a warning that public perception can shift quickly and that traditional campaign-style giveaways may no longer carry the weight they once did. For the opponents, it is an opportunity to frame the administration as out of touch with the people's frustration. Whether the empowerment program will have any lasting positive impact for those who receive the items remains to be seen, but politically, the images of soda cans scattered on the ground and crowds chanting for the president's departure will linger. They will likely surface in political rallies, talk shows, and social media campaigns as the country inches closer to the next election cycle.
Sasa ndio hii empowerment ya Nairobi 50 shillings. Mpaka hizi sijui kama zimefuatana, hizi zijafuatana namba. Tumepewa 50-50 na mheshimiwa ya Kenya za empowerment
for the youth.
In politics, perception can be as powerful as reality, and on this day, the perception was clear. Even with the gates of Statehouse, goodwill can evaporate quickly if the people's deeper needs remain unaddressed.
Mea kiburi. Unaona hizi zote ni soda na tukunywi, tatuoneshe. Mea kiburi. Hii ni kiburi tumemea. Wewe ni safaras.
Jina kiebuona kwa Mr. President, machupa, mashofa, machupa kila mahali.